As promised, my Valentine's one for all my lovers out there. But beware and heed this caution. This one I've got cooked up for you tonight, well, only the most fiendish of perverts may delight. So be warned. And if you're ready, because you know I certainly am, without further ado, let me present to you tonight Careful. They came out in 1992, paired with The Lighthouse. They came out in 2019. So, all of you that are unfamiliar with Careful, possibly unfamiliar with Guy Madden at large, and if I'm introducing you to Guy Madden tonight, you are very welcome because I'm about to introduce you to one of your new faves. So, we got Careful. It's crafted as a silent 1920s film. And Guy Madden is, you know what, he's a five or die kind of guy. You're either going to fall in love with his oversaturated, very bizarre adventure tale, or you have no chill. You are a repressed Philistine. This review isn't for you. Possibly movies aren't for you. And I would like to unkindly ask you to please leave the video. Throw your phone off a cliff if necessary. Because this is the day of love, man. And this is the day that the true guy freaks reign supreme. So we got guys, as stated, oversaturated, very tinted photography that immediately envelops you in this very dysphoric tunnel of love. And we're cautioned at the beginning of this film. In fact, we're cautioned in the style of Kipling. He's even quoted at the beginning of the film about this village that's structured just underneath an avalanche. And it's like, look, at any point, at any time, with any sound, with any emotion too hot, this all comes just crashing down. So we're urged to tread lightly and speak softly. But very unfortunately for this town, very unfortunate indeed, lustful desire proves to be among the loudest of emotions. We got Johann. We got his brother Grigors. We got his freak mute brother Franz, who's like shamed, exiled to the attic. And we got their widowed mother. Now this house becomes, well, a cacophony of incestuous passions, which should be the tagline of this film. And if that hasn't sold you, you might want to consider shutting the video off because I don't think nothing else will hook you quite like the incestuous passions of Guy Madden. So they have their dead father. He's haunting poor Franz, just frozen in shame and shock and terror of this just sexually devious town. And um, he's being haunted by his dead father, who's like telling him all these salacious things about his widowed mom and his brothers. And, he's just, he's telling him, he sits him down. He's like, look, I gotta be honest, your mom is an extremely unfulfilled woman now that I'm no longer around. And her sexual frustration has actually disembodied itself. And I'm going to give it to you quite straight, son. It has possessed your brother Johann. That is not a clever, cutesy, turn of phrase. It has indeed possessed him. And he is now having all of these carnal desires and hallucinations for his own mother. Here's the real dire thing about the whole situation. He starts interrupting the lectures at Butler School. And the thing you need to know about Johann is there is nothing else in this world that he takes more seriously than Butler School. In fact, the whole town would agree with him. They got this count, this very mysterious count. He lives up on high, and he's like, look, I love having servants. There's a whole town down there who loves to be in servitude. Might as well open my own school and teach them how to be my servants. And it works out because these people fucking eat the shit up. And Johann, among the most just absolute devoted of the flock to Butler School and just servantry at large. And he starts just verbally ejaculating all over Butler School. Just, as disgusting as my little turn of phrase sounds. And we know that if it's come to this, it's quite the dire situation. And he becomes obsessed. He becomes lecherous. He cooks up a love potion so he can assault his mom in her sleep. And eventually, he, of course, awakens from these erotic acts of terror and he maims himself, throws himself off the mountainous terrain. And look, it's a sad end. We hate to see him go, but all things considered, I feel like this probably ended the best for everyone involved. Um, one, you know, one less lecherous lover in the world. See ya, Johan. So this might come as no, well, you know what? This is actually going to come as a surprise. So Johan was always a lover boy, and he had his best girl Clara before all of the sexual acts of terror, and so um, he has best girl Clara. He was gonna marry that bitch. And then it's like he gets, completely overtaken with lustful desire for his own mother. But Clara has also got a yearning of her own, okay? Don't be too sad for Clara, because she's got a yearning of her own. She's got a scheme all of her own. I mean, she schemes so many times in this movie, I can't even keep it straight. That girl loves a good plot. And she can do it among the best of us. So she's got this yearning of her own. She's thirsting for her very disinterested, very dismissive father. He's fawning all over the sister. And it's like he just kind of dismisses Clara off to the mines. It's like, go work the mines, go, die of the black lung. Who really cares as long as I have your sister? Um, so she's like cooking up this plot, and she's like, all right, you know what? Like, fuck my dad. Like, literally, fuck my dad. I'm gonna carve out this love nest in the side of the mountain. I'm gonna track my old ass bitch ass father up there, and we are gonna consummate our love. The major plot hole here in Clara's scheme, major hole, I will say, in the scheme is that her dad hates her. So of course he gets there and he's like, no, Clara. No. Not only are you my disgusting daughter, I hate you. That is a capital no fucking way. And of course, you know what? This doesn't keep a good plotter down, okay? This just challenges her to create an even eviler plot, an even more sexually psychotic plot. And so she then sets her sights on Johan's brother, Grigors. And she's like, you know what? That's a very impressionable young man if I've ever seen him. I bet I could get that guy to kill my dad. And you know what? She's in luck because he's already killed his mother's only suitor, which happens to be none other than the mysterious Count. The Count who, you know, opened this Butler school. Um, and so, we get this very delicious backstory of why she's like, you know what, I hate my freak son Franz. I hate him so much because he looks like his dirty dog dad, and he's my dirty dog son, and if he looks too much like his dirty dog dad, I hate him. But she's like, the only reason I can even stand to look at Johann and Grigors is because they remind me of the passion that the Count once evoked in me, the very fantasies I had to think about while they were conceived. And I think it passed through the womb, onto these two, for some reason, not Franz. And that's why he's lives now in shame, his mother's shame. Actually she has no shame. Like, literally, I don't think a single soul in this town has shame. It's just, it is a very, very deviant, fiendish town. um just I can't even imagine living there. So he's already killed. And I have to deliver some news that will now break hearts across America. And I apologize for it, but my heart is broken, and so yours must now be too. None other than Martin Scorsese was going to play the role of the Count in this film. Instead, he decided to shoot Cape Fear, but this is one of the most devastating missed opportunities in cinematic history. And I like to believe the only thing keeping me going, the only thing keeping me going, the only thing keeping me alive right now is the fact that maybe somewhere in another life, we will get Martin Scorsese, The Count, and Guy Madden's Careful one day. But in the end, of course, the deceitful scheme for Grigors to intentionally set off an avalanche, killing not only her father, but the entire town. I mean, go big or go home, Claire, I guess. I mean, she's good girl bossing. Um, so, but you know what? This turns out to be a very deceitful scheme, though, because she has deceived Grigors, and this is just a very cataclysmic excuse to just coerce a kiss out of her father, to embrace him, to lock lips with her own dad. Like, even if I will kiss my dad if I have to die trying. And she does. There's no better reason than to kiss your dad than in a cataclysmic avalanche that is not only destroying you, but also your entire village. um, so there we have it. Pretty much everyone at this point is dead by murder or suicide. And Franz, though, Franz, dirty dog, freak ass Franz, still alive. We love to see it, though. We love to see it. He's last man standing. He's kind of surveying the aftermath and he signs a life, but you just want to tell him to go. You just want to be like, Franz, no, free yourself. Go live in a town where you have unrestrained expression and venereal freedom and unshackle yourselves. Unshackle yourself from the very bonds of repression. And I like to think he did. I'm going to choose to believe on this day of love, Franz is out there somewhere. He's out there completely unshackled. Wherever there's a sexual misdeed, well, be rest assured, Franz has perpetuated it. Which brings me to The Lighthouse, a film very much tethered in its climactic frenzy. Living with Willem, I have to say this as a little bit of an aside. I am an English bulldog mother. And I have to say that living with Willem in this movie and an English bulldog are not that dissimilar. We love him. We love Bugley. I've mentioned Bugley before on the channel. In fact, it was just his birthday a couple of days ago. So happy birthday, Bugley. It might have been his first birthday he's ever had in his life. Um, so we had a lot of fun. We went out. We went big with it. All right. He got a big bed. He's got a cake. We really maxed out the birthday merriment there. Um, but you know what? I gotta say, I love Bugley, but it is not too dissimilar. Um, the life of Wiki and the owner of and the mother of these stubborn, just smush-faced goblins or ghouls, if you will. Um, I think you know what it. At times, the lifestyle can be unsavory, repellent, foul, but also very delightful and humorous and filled with this really unknowable brightness. I just adore Bugley as much as I adore Willem in this film. But what really connects these two is suppression. Don't spill your beans, Thomas. um, Echoes throughout the film. Either it's like this repeated mantra, or under the watchful prying eyes of old Willem Dafoe. It sounds like a dream to me. Sounds like a dream to me. I could see how like uncultured fools might think that this is like a parable of hell, but to me, it's like I'm like super into it. I'm like into it. I'm like, and in my dream of dreams, on this day of love, I will admit to you in this little sacred safe space that we've carved out. In our little fiendish delights. I will admit to a fiendish delight. Whenever I watch this film, I go, this would be a dream. I would love to be on this cursed rock, parable of hell or not. Um, in a very sick, disgusting throuple with these two. This would be where I thrive. This would be the dream. But sure, Parable of Hell, fine, I guess. But the film comes with many questions, right? It's like, what's Robert Pattinson's real name? We know none of the ones he's thrown out are real. Has he killed before the guy he's told us about? Because we certainly know he's going to kill again. What's the mysterious sinful light? Have these sirens sexually cursed the rock? Or are they just like part of the landscape of, the many layers of damnation? Is Willem the incarnation of Satan himself? Is he just a very wrathful Poseidon? Or is he simply just kind of this usher that ushers in these souls to, the seabirds? The seabirds and lost souls themselves, trapped souls themselves. But is he just kind of ushering other trapped souls, to the seabirds so that they can, feast and decide, is this person evil enough to become our feast of the damned? Is this lighthouse merely just a beacon for lost souls, attracting like, these murderous moths, to its very wicked flame indeed. Um, and throughout all these questions, I just imagine that Robert Eggers, looking down on us, lording down on us from his pedestal that we rightly placed him on. He's looking down on us and he's just going, no, no. You don't deserve any answers, you overeager swine. You know what? Here's the only thing you do deserve, the beauty that I've crafted. Okay? Um, and I just really think he's a genius for that. I love that he doesn't saddle himself with his like definitive explanations. And I feel like we're in an era where movies and our media just like over explicate, overwrite, and just over fucking saturate with heavy handed images. um it's like it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be like, you know what, are they so underestimating their audience, or are they estimating them correctly? And it just becomes this total cringe fest. And Eggers is this vestige of, I mean, I can't really say subtlety, but craftsmanship. Much like the style, much like the style and just like the stylized colorization of Careful. Eggers he's much more of a painter or a sculptor than an architect, with his images and designs and characterizations. Within the lurid nature of his films, he creates a very deliberate beauty. Um, even eroticism, one dare might say. And look, I am so glad that people are going absolutely tit fucking wild for Nosferatu. And I'm not immune to it. Like, I'm right there with y'all, okay? And I am so excited that people are, but I just wish that more people would open their eyes to the very lustful and erotic nature of this film. And maybe tonight will be that night where I draw more of you in and you see the light. So yeah, we get Robert Pattinson, and he's not only is it one jerkin, that almost seems restrained compared to the fury of his second coming. We got Willem who cuts a fuckhole out of his bunk, he cuts this fuckhole out. There's Pattinson, he's like peeping on him through this other carved out hole. That was like probably carved for this very exact reason. And Willem is this really like dominating, cruel figure. And he's so domineering and cruel and almost like this inquiring way. Like, like how far can I bend this boy? Under his constant gaze, assaulting him with bodily fluids, and functions, in coercing him to imbibe, to really just um, enforce his ascendancy and maintain his rule. Much like a dog subjugating his sub. But you know what? This old salty dog has gotten a little bit lazy in his craft. I will say he's gotten a little bit lazy, and this is his fault. It's like he doesn't understand that it's like you're not matching the revelry necessary. There's got to be some revelry. There's got to be some merrymaking. For your command to be something that's welcomed rather than mutiny. And we got the old dog barking. He knows what we're talking about. He loves this movie. I think it might be his favorite film. Dogs do have favorite films, by the way. Okay, I've had pugs before this. They had their favorite films. It was just I could talk about it all day. I won't take up too much time, but they have their favorite films. And this might be Bugley's. Can't blame him. He's getting excited. He's getting excited, man. I'm excited. You should be excited. Um, but you know what? His command is mutinied. And it's shunned by Pattinson, and it's like you know what? It's like this sort of shit can only be pushed too far in an unwilling partnership, and so he like resorts to this gaslighting and torturing with the delusions of the mind and whatnot to poor Pattinson, and of course, the eventual outcome is this very like riotous climax of oppression. And now it's of course Willem being around as a dog on a leash, and Pattinson, the master, is now turned extremely barbarous by abuse, and even the dirt, though. Even the dirt, he's like getting buried alive. And it's like, even the dirt from this burial alive, it's not enough to shut up his like tyrannized monologuing. It's just like, God, monologuing. And I adore it. I love it. And it's like, that doesn't even shut him up. It takes an axe to the head to finally drown out this browbeating goddamn son of the sea. Um, but we're left with even more questions, aren't we? What are the light? Is Pattinson too pure? Or is like bulbous charred out eyes the judgment of purity? Whatever the case, it seems like the seabirds will feast. The seabirds will feast whether deserving or not. And just like the cruelty of our material world, justice seems to deliver its verdict randomly. What begets evil? Who defines the term? Does it exist outside of the human experience? So there we have it, lovers. This Valentine's Day, remember to hold your loved ones close, your enemies closer, and your cinema the closest. Emancipate yourself and revel in your wantonness. Live free or die hard, babes. Happy Valentine's Day. And as a little secret bonus, one tradition that I always have every year is I like to watch the Golden Girls episode titled Valentine's Day. um, it is a great introduction to the girls if you're not already familiar. And it's like one of the funniest episodes. It always makes my Valentine's Day super special. And so I thought I would just share that all with you. If you'd like to check it out, if you'd like to partake in my little dish, please do so. You're going to have a great time, just as you will watching these films. Thanks for checking it out. Also, another aside. Before I go, I swear I'll let you go. But before you go, Careful is streaming on like this really great app that I love, Canopy, that is operated through the public library system and some universities. So if you're a student or you have a public library card, you can find Careful on there and you can rent it for free. I love my public library. I love Canopy. So I just wanted to, throw that out there. Check it out. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful Valentine's Day, all of my special, special perverted lovers. And I'll see you next time.